of course, the team who beat them last week. On the same map, mind you. It was Wichita Wolves who went towards Villa. Exactly. They ended up losing to Orglis, but they did take it to OT. And Lenny, who also played Villa there, could not squeak out a third round. So Wichita Wolves, they are no doubt the favorites here. But like we saw last week, this team is by no means infallible. They had, their own mistakes, their own hiccups, and LennyGG, it's their job to exploit them.
And if there's anything Lenny have going for them, it's their unpredictability. I think that's definitely something that Orglis capitalized upon against Wichita Wolves on Villa. But, I don't know, Clubhouse, although Wichita Wolves has been pretty dominant on it in recent history, remember, this is actually where they took that surprise loss to PDHM in the last stage, when PDHM had a sub. And that definitely added to PDHM's unpredictability. So who knows? I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that Lenny, makes another upset, especially Wichita Wolves is playing like they did against Orglis, because, not to discredit Orglis, of course, because it was fantastic when they took, but Wichita Wolves in a lot of those rounds didn't really seem like themselves. We've got Maverick Thatcher off the board. That's going to do away with two of the most important operators on this map. You do leave Hibana up, and because they're both banned, you have to ban the Cade. Dealing with a Cade with no Maverick or Thatcher is almost impossible. It's really hard. So, of course, you don't want to do that, but that means Bandit has now come back into play.
Well, with the Wamai ban to shake things up, what these teams are saying is it's okay if you bring the Bandit because you no longer have those Wamai magnets to stop those Capital bolts. We're definitely going to be seeing some play of that Capital because of that Wamai ban, and the Wichita Wolves, they are showing us that pick right out of the gate with Melted taking up the reins. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, when you go to that top floor site of CCTV and Cache, what you generally do is you open up a small, breaching hole in the right garage panel. You open up that line of sight, you throw an asphyxiating bolt right onto that CCTV wall, it drops on down, the fire spreads, it forces the bandit away, and there you go. The wall's open, splickety split. But now, of course, we're not starting upstairs. We're going to head downstairs to Basement Church and Arsenal, the site that's opening us up here. And we've got, not a full SSG roam, but we certainly have a full map extension. We can see the reinforcements going down on that jacuzzi wall, on the platform wall, and this construction rotation being set up now by Slippery and Storms.
They also got holes. You saw Slippery just kind of punching the floor in Logi to watch kitchen. Make sure that, hey, when Wichita Wolves go for this kitchen hatch, it's not going to be as easy as just shooting the heart breach down and being done with it. Although, is that what Callout's going to be going for? He's already opening the window. It looks like they might drone it out. Hopefully they see those floors so that Slippery can't easily pick off those Hibana pellets. They are going to have to clear this map. They're not going for this rush. It's already been 30 seconds, so it's too late to set up for it as well. There's plenty of mute jammers to try and deny those drones. I'm not sure if there's anyone upstairs with Storms and Slippery or if it's just them two, but Storms is going to start things off with a kill. Forrest goes down very early on, actually outside the server window.
Yeah, that is a unusual misplay there from Forrest. I'm not sure if he was caught on his drone or he just tried to take that one-on-one gunfight with limited intel, but that limited intel is going to put Wichita Wolves on the back foot, at least to kick things off. You've got Jay, who's on the Thermite, who will quickly respond with a kill onto Mikey, playing over in Secret and in Lounge. Jay will actually waste no additional time to push right on into Blue, and actually in the middle of the objective right now. Looks like LennyGG aren't aware of that, and here comes the full onslaught. Abunai joins him, gets a kill onto Swalen. Storms is now forced to rotate back, but Melted lines him up perfectly. Good on Geo for getting that trade, but now it'll be a 2 versus 3. Slippery, possibly the saving grace from above, but now that's the only play LennyGG have remaining because Geo has been finished off by Callout. Plants going down, an excellent shot from Abunai through the floor as those fists came on through by the Aruni, and it's going to be a clean first round for the Wolves.
Very good adjustment from Wichita Wolves. That was impressive. 3 people all upstairs. Storms, Geo, and Slippery enacting that roam as the Mute, the Legion, and the Aruni. You had Mikey kind of hovering around Secret and Lounge. Swalen left downstairs all alone in Church as the sole anchor when you are playing a roam like that. Once you lose one of those anchors, if your teammates aren't ready to fall back, you're going to lose the site. And Wichita Wolves spotted that out. Sure, they lost Forrest very early on, but the fact that Jay was able to find the immediate trade on Mikey, and whoever, I imagine, call out, being the IGL, was like, boys, there's 3 off site. Let's just hit it. They come from dirt. They come from the hatch. They come from blue. They spot out the Valkyrie, kill her immediately, and that forces the other 3 roamers into a retake with every attacker in the bomb site. Especially with 2 of them coming down blue. It was a 1-for-1 trade. That puts LennyGG in an even worse position. I believe it was a 2 versus 3 at that point. Gio's very low. He finally gets finished off. And I mean, sure, Slippery has the hatch to play with, but missing those key few shots on the players funneling in through dirt and right under his nose. He misses them. Wichita Wolves are like, oh, there's a guy upstairs. They plant in the safe spot with someone watching the other side of the hatch, and the round is done and dusted. That adjustment was beautiful. And now we move on to round number 2. It's a different site with Amira, but already your Rafters player is going to be 10 HP. Honestly, if I'm Lenny, I would just completely take Slippery out of Rafters, because with a Capitao in play, Slippery's going to go down easy.
Yeah, he is 1 HP at this point, and you don't want to put a player with so low health in Rafters. I mean, often we see a Doc in this position because you just take so much damage so frequently that it is just not sustainable if you do not have the HP to sustain that. Looks like he'll be fine at least for these first 45 seconds, but Storms is no longer for this earth as Forrest gets a beautiful nade coming from below as he entered in through stock and makes quick work of the bandit, makes quick work of the platform wall as the exothermic charge will go down. So you still have to worry about the Jaeger, you still have to take Rafters control if you're the Wichita Wolves, but as we already spoke about, that may be a lot easier than it would be otherwise. There's that second charge being detonated. In fact, that's a breaching charge because that panel was left soft. So they have a quick access into garage, and they're not going to have to expend a hard breach utility to do so. We can see them all working their way around this garage side. The diffuser currently not in hand now, picked up by call out as they try to figure out exactly what their approach is going to be. Generally at this point we see attacking teams decide either push in garage and take Rafters control or work their way around and maybe go for that 2-pronged construction and cache take. But based on this drone work, based on the intel that Wichita now has, it does seem that garage is on the mind.
Yeah, it's totally going to be garage, especially with the holes opened in the garage wall connecting to server. That leaves Slippery in a very exposed and vulnerable position, one that Wichita Wolves is likely to take advantage of in due time. They're just making sure he's stuck in R90. The Capitao, I believe, is actually right under him. I think that's melted, sending the firebolts out. If Slippery even takes one breath, he's going to be a dead man, but he's actually able to escape it for now, but turns his back to bottom garage. That allows Abinai to find the kill. A 3 versus 5 now for the Wichita Wolves. But time is starting to dwindle. 35 seconds. But oh, the mirror window's actually open, and Mikey's just going to slam him right through it. So 1 kill goes back the way of LennyGG. And the breach is being gassed off. Swaylin only has 1 left, though. He's only able to deny effectively another 10-ish or so seconds. Melted soon to send his smoke grenades in to block off the mirror window and the red wall so that Callout can get in and start planting this diffuser. The C4 will miss. Force is coming in from Khan. His aggressive play doesn't work out, but both Mikey and Gio are taken out. It's just Swaylin. A shotgun will find 1, but now he's stuck in the post plant. 1 versus 2. Gio is still recoverable. Swaylin will go for the pickup. That'll even up the man count, but Gio is very low HP, and these attackers have buzzed right off of the site, holding their post plants now. 1 on the plat rappel, holding very low and passive, and 1 coming back up over towards garage. They have the info on the garage player, though, and Swaylon's able to get the pick, but here's Melted with the perfect position. Gio's head gets ripped right off, but Swaylon,
oh my!
The quad kill, oh my god! He just peeks right out of the breach. A 4K for the smoke, and the clutch for Swaylon.
I mean, I do not know how Melted doesn't see that or hear him coming up, but wow, what a play. The quad kill on the round and the clutch in what seemed like an impossible post plant. Not only getting the key res, but getting those 2 kills to finish off the round and get that diffuser taken care of. Excellent play from the smoke, and wow. I mean, that is exactly what you're looking for if you're LennyGG, capitalizing on the smallest missteps. Even in that post plant, they still had some time to work with. They did a good job putting down those smokes to force the Wichita Wolves to delay until the last possible second before they actually got that bomb down. And when they did, getting into those post plants, getting to the right position where they weren't exposed to LennyGG was a little bit easier said than done. And LennyGG, they capitalized on it. A messy round, but a quad kill for Swaylin is going to bring them back in this fight in a big way, taking CCTV and Cash despite all odds and equalizing us at 1-1.
Yeah, a key few errors there from Wichita Wolves. One of which, Forrest, Kool-Aid Manning through the Cash barricade. That was a little bit odd. I imagine the plan was, hey, let's send our utility in, and when we flood, they'll be too distracted by the server push to worry about Cash. So, hey, I can go ahead, use my sledgehammer, bust open that wall, or bust open the doorway and make an aggressive play, and someone was staring at it because there was a Valkyrie on the board, and they likely had info. We saw in the latter stages of that post plant, too. There was info on the guy pushing garage, which allowed Swaylin to get that easy kill. And now, LennyGG are going to be on Jim. They brought 2 shields in the hands of the Goyo. That means they don't have to take the smoke if they're not, they're not planning on it. They got the Aruni to help facilitate that Cash roam as well, but in less than a minute, Wichita Wolves have already opened that Jacuzzi breach. So how much utility and how much manpower they actually dedicate to that Cash push remains to be seen.
Right now, just trying to get their bearings, figure out what kind of defensive setup they're dealing with. Haven't bothered, like you said, to go for this Cash clear. Unfortunately, that will leave them exposed to a possible server window peek that might be attempted by Geo here. Looks like they'll stay back in Cash itself. Nothing in the way of aggression coming out from LennyGG just yet. Sitting back, taking a couple of damage, at least in Storms' case. But right now, it's just a waiting game and force Wichita Wolves into uncomfortable positions of their own. We saw a nade go over in towards that bathroom area. Nobody caught out by that. Mikey, he'll rotate around actually quite dangerously into Gym itself. Not sure if Abonai or anyone on Wichita Wolves is aware of this, and now Mikey springs into action. A good swing out the Gym window, gets the kill onto Abonai. Storms has been dropped down in the meantime, actually in a seemingly unrecoverable position, considering this bathroom breach is now wide open. But essentially a 4v4, and the early momentum that Wichita Wolves were building in this round has now come to a grinding halt. They're now going to be forced to change something up, but Mikey has something to say about that, finding 1, now 2, a triple kill on the round, the final kill in his line of sight. But Slippery is the one to deliver the blow, and an excellent tertiary site defense from LennyGG. That's 2 in a row.
Especially Mikey playing in and around that weight rack perfectly. That was a clinic on how to play inside of Gym itself. Wichita Wolves were, I mean, let's be honest, they're really only attacking from one angle there. And when you're attacking all through the garage breach, well, the defenders, they're going to know where to look. So first you have the 1-2 punch on Abonai, someone peeking from server window. That distracts the Zofia enough for Mikey to peek him from the Gym window. And there you go. That's your Metal Balk player dead. And I don't believe Wichita Wolves ever really replaced him. Right? Yeah, I don't think so. Then the rush from the breach comes in through the smoke. Mikey gets the first pick because the smoke isn't actually covering short. It's just for the main stairs cross. You're relying on your entering attacker through the breach to win that fight in Gym, which he didn't. Mikey gets the first pick. He looks towards bathroom, gets the second, and then there's only one guy left on the breach, and he doesn't know what the hell to do. He's distracted by Mikey while Slipper is shooting him in the side. Lenny, because Wichita Wolves were only attacking from one direction, Lenny could completely dictate the pace of that round because they knew exactly where they were coming from, and they played off the angle as well. And if there's one thing that Lenny can fall back on, it's their gunplay.
Yeah. I got to admit, I'm a little surprised at the approach that the Wolves just decided to take there. Normally, from the most disciplined and patient attacks, right, we see them work their way in from that Cash side. They clear that Cash extension, they work their way over through construction, and that way they get a two-pronged approach onto the objective. Maybe they work their way into logistics, they drop that hatch, making sure to apply a lot of pressure and take care of the open angles that generally you're not allowed to play as a defender. Like, Mikey should not have been allowed to play on that gym rotate. Had construction been taken by the attackers, that position is no longer secure at all. There's a doorway facing that exact rotate. But maybe it's confidence, overconfidence. Maybe the Wichita Wolves, they've got a new strategy they want to run with here. But that strat was simply, let's all send it through the same jacuzzi wall breach. And we saw how that went. They didn't have a fallback plan. It's the consequences of when you put all your eggs in one basket and things start to slowly go wrong. It started to derail because Abunai was stuck alone on the metal balk, got caught in a crossfire because, again, there was no clear of cache, so somebody could peek the server window. A couple of pretty unusual missteps for the Wichita Wolves is now going to put them in the disadvantage. Yes, this is clubhouse attack. You're not supposed to get 4 rounds. You get 2, maybe 3 on your good day. But these mistakes are still happening, and it's not normal.
Especially, too, you know, again, they never replaced Abunai either. Like that, Abunai was the guy who was supposed to stop Mikey from doing what he did. No one ever replaced him. Now, LennyGG, they're playing a very, very similar strategy to the one they employed last basement defense, if not the exact same one. And here's Storms once again peeking very aggressively out the window. He'll tag Abunai up just a bit, but he actually ends up worse for wear in that engagement. And the Wichita Wolves seem like they are fully dedicated to clearing this roam out this time. No rush down blue. They want to meet these roamers head on. Already, garage can be breached open to help facilitate this clear because they know there's people holding over towards cache. There's one in Swamp and Secret earlier, and Geo is going to fall off much earlier than he did in round 1.
Abunai now seeing if a potential blue rush is possible. Droning that one out, and because the drone is now taken care of, Geo's position will be at least temporarily exposed, and Melted will come around to assist in clearing out that lesion. But right now, Wichita Wolves, I think, learning from that last round, they are mounting pressure from a variety of locations, now opening up that dirt tunnel as well to establish this crossfire in Arsenal now that Abunai has taken firm control of blue. Not only that, but is in the middle of the bomb site yet again. LennyGG, not sure if they're aware of it this time, but the pre-fire from Melted should communicate that. Mikey, capitalizing on that intel, stands up, gets one. Swaylin the second. And now Wichita Wolves, they're caught out in a crossfire. Melted needs to get something done, but Mikey says no. Mikey now swings a little bit too much and pays for it, but Callout will now be the last player standing with Jay taken off the board. A 1 versus 4. 45 seconds and stuck in the middle of the bomb site without the diffuser in hand. It's going to take a miracle for Callout to pull this one off, especially because he has no intel to work with, and there are guns just about everywhere. Swaylin from above will clean things up, and LennyGG continue the streak.
So, Wichita Wolves, they cleared the roam a little bit more. They forced Geo to fall back, but they didn't get the even trade they had in round 1. That was a whole 5v5 execute with 4, I believe, defenders on site, and 1, namely Slippery, still upstairs. And Mikey and Swaylin in back Arsenal, holding off blue as well, was like defending the Alamo. We saw the entry from Abunai, and this was very interesting. We saw the entry from Abunai come in. They drone it out. They know blue is clear. They start walking into Arsenal. I thought, for a sec, that Abunai saw Mikey playing back Arsenal by Ashwall, by Kool-Aid Wall. But it turned out he didn't, and he just looked away. Mikey peeks at the perfect time. Swaylin finds a kill of his own. Mikey swings out from Dark Spot and gets another. And Wichita Wolves just seemed like as soon as they... So they drone out blue, right? But as soon as they go into blue and actually start to push into the site, there was no more intel for them to work off of. And the cards just kind of, House of Cards just kind of fall for them. And then Slippery, you know, Slippery comes from a flank of his own and kills the last couple of players. And as far as I remember, most of those mute jammers were dedicated upstairs too, so I don't know if maybe it's just that Wichita Wolves didn't send their drones in deep enough, if LennyGG caught the drones before they could get deep enough. Either way, it just looked like they were just... It looked like Wichita Wolves were kind of floundering once they actually got into the bomb site.
We have obviously been talking a good bit about the Wolves' mistakes here, but one thing I think worth highlighting is Lenny in that last round. They learned from their own mistakes in round number one. We saw in round number one how the Wichita Wolves, they had their run of the site. They walked in. Lenny weren't aware of it. They were caught out a bit too much extension really happening on that defense. But round number four was far and away quite the opposite. I mean, we had many more Lenny defenders on site. They were aware that the Wichita Wolves like to just pounce on into the site if they see an opportunity. And LennyGG, they may have, baited them into taking that opportunity. They didn't heavily contest blue. They didn't have one in dummies holding dirt or holding that blue door. They simply waited, gave up the site, and they were there for the retake. Now, this round, it's not going to go as well at the start. Looks like Mikey was taken out, so those late round heroics won't be possible. But Swalen, who was the clutch master last time we were on this particular site, is still up, has 6 kills, and, well, his teammates will continue to fall around him. It wasn't Forrest who got that kill. Instead, Melted, again, who is now 2 kills on the round. Was that an angle from all the way down here?
I don't know if it was an angle from down there or if he just was on the roof and then dropped off. But either way, the play from Geo obviously was, I hear the nade get pulled, and I'm going to try and catch Sledge off guard. But there was another player covering it. And Abonai, who earlier in the round we saw creeping his way through bar, is ready to catch Storms as Storms rotates down the hatch to play for his C4. That leaves just Swalen and make that just Slippery left in the bomb site all alone. And Forrest, after jumping in, will find a second kill in very short order. Wichita Wolves, after dropping 3 attacks in a row, will finally win one, and flawlessly at that.
Yeah, that's quite a way to turn things around and send a message to LennyGG that you're no longer messing about here. But that's only one round. Sure, you'll stop the bleeding, but can you recover it fully? They'll head over to gym and bedroom for this last attack. We know how that went last time, and so I'm curious to see if Wichita Wolves are going to make any adjustments. I'd like to see them clear cache. I'd like to see them really go through that more patient approach, because on paper, if these two teams are going with, pretty default strats, we know who's going to come out on top. Wichita Wolves, they are the favorites here for a reason. Many would say they're the better team, but LennyGG have been putting on a clinic right now, at least for the most part. And it's just about getting that as consistent as possible for this younger team to really capitalize. Now, last time, the full rush through Jacuzzi, the pressure in gym, it was all stopped by Mikey. It pretty much all stopped at the beginning of the round. In the late round, it was all Mikey just taking up that aggressive positioning in gym. I want to know how Wichita Wolves are going to deal with it, if they are going to take Con, if they are going to take Cash, or if they are instead just going to make sure that multiple players are positioned on the metal balcony in case you do have that peek from the server window, or in case, just like last time, Abonai falls of it earlier than expected.
Even though LennyGG took 3 rounds in a row, I feel like in my mind, that was a lot more points than it actually is in the game. Because I mean, if Wichita Wolves just take this round right here, that's a 3-3 half. Yep. That's still really good for a clubhouse attack with no Mav Thatcher. That's really good. So Wichita Wolves, although they haven't looked the best in these past 3 rounds, taking that one back flawlessly and still having a chance to win gym when you know it's coming is huge. And now they're actually going to clear cache, which is what we were looking for in that round prior. Something that definitely bit them in the back. They're going to be going for this full clear and do their due diligence. Make sure that Lenny can't play the aggressive game and give them the freedom they want. Already, the garage wall has been opened, and I believe the Nitro cell from Storms has already gone out, and Swalen will be the first casualty. Forrest rips his head off, flank watching the metal balcony, and that'll give Wichita Wolves this opening pick and the confidence to start moving in through the breaches.
Yeah, now stunning out the top of red stairs, sending a drone down range. Still one player positioned here, and They're just going to pop right up. The drone did not get all the way back there to see Slippery with 2 ADSs and a Vulcan shield at his feet. Storms will now get another one, silencing Forest, removing your 2 big soft breachers, your 2 big guns in this round. Jay, the Thermite, hopes to recover this and unable to.
Wow.
Slippery getting 1 on the creep up red stairs and then getting the second. Call Out hits the best shot of his career onto the head of Geo, but now still has to clutch things up in a 1 versus 3. Looks like he wanted to chase down Slippery for a moment, but the Slippery tucks tail and runs down the secret stairs. Call Out will head towards the other staircase in an attempt to cut them off. No drones, no intel, 60 seconds against 3. That's what Call Out has in front of him, and he really wants this kill onto Slippery. Finally, able to get it, but takes about 50 HP worth of damage to pay the price.
It is a 1v2. So granted, it's still doable, but he has to be wary of his back right corner. Mikey, I believe he's prone on the ground holding this angle. And Storms, if his teammate goes down, is going to find the trade in short order. Call Out, unfortunately, doesn't look the right way. We don't even need Storms. Mikey is going to shoot him in the back and finish him off. That is a 4-2 defensive half for LennyGG. If we want to talk about that round. Slippery. Slippery on red. As you highlighted, being undroned. Wichita Wolves were able to get that initial first pick, but once they move through the breach, they don't know Slippery is red. Abonai gets taken out staring at the cache rotate, and I don't know how, Forrest just happens to die on Meadow Balk, which is kind of, that's whatever. We didn't really see that. That's just an even trade. But Slippery remains there. Then, Wichita Wolves try to adjust, right? Okay, let's have someone come up bottom red, and we'll have Jay push the red hallway, and we'll try and pinch out this Jaeger. Sure, one of us may die, but that is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. But Slippery gets the kill bottom red. And the Aruni is holding Slippery's crossfire, which Wichita Wolves did not expect. I mean, Slippery ended up getting the third kill anyway, big 3K for him, but still the Aruni helped. And then Call Out, who tries to chase the Jaeger down, but I guess we could say the Jaeger was a little too slippery, up until the end there when he found him bottom main. And sure, it was a 1v2. Sure, it was doable, but low on time, no intel to speak of at all, means that LennyGG can easily lock that out in the crossfire they were holding. Again, Wichita Wolves, another round where it just seemed like they didn't drone enough, which is a really odd thing to say about this team.
I think if there's anything we've learned from this first half, Harrison, it's that LennyGG, not only do they come here to play, but they've got a roster and a half. I mean, we have seen 3 different players step up in big ways just in the first 6 rounds. Round number 2, it was Swaylin with a 4K and a clutch in the post plant. Round number 3, it was Mikey with a triple kill holding down Jim with his life. And then in round number 6, it was Slippery, an equally important triple kill on the top of the red stairs. It was just a clinic yet again of how to defend that position. This is really impressive stuff. On their defensive half, they really excelled. Really now it's about how they can shift to the attacking side. This is where their coordination is going to be tested. This is where some of the struggles that LennyGG have had in the past may come out and shine. That's what Wichita Wolves want to do. They want to make sure that not only do they force LennyGG into making those mistakes, but they capitalize on them along the way. One thing they're doing right now is doing an efficient job, or rather, quite the opposite. Wichita Wolves have slowed LennyGG down really well. They have a good extension here over on this cache side, and LennyGG are walking their way on through it. You also have a player in Rafters, but Call Out will stand right on up and get swiftly taken down. A bit of a misplay there will give LennyGG a little bit of an edge, but 90 seconds remain in this round, and LennyGG have barely stepped foot in the building. So in terms of overall timing, Wichita Wolves are still in the upper hand.
But luckily for them, Wichita Wolves have fallen off cache very early on. The plat wall and the red walls left soft leaves them very little protection, and LennyGG will gain that control. And now they start to turn their attention towards the site, now that they have this construction side pinch. And I imagine either, Swaylin or Geo, one of those two will go ahead and breach Jacuzzi. At least I would hope they're on their way. Okay, it seems to be Geo. Obviously, thermiting that wall is better than using the Hibana on it. So LennyGG, they're starting to set up the pinch. Oh, but they got to do it with the Bandit. I just realized, melted his bandit. Did not see that before. So someone is going to have to go to the metal balk. And it seems to be Storms. Sludge open this castle barricade, shoot down the batteries, and there you go. Easy, Geo can breach. But there's someone hiding behind the weight rack. I'm not quite sure who that is. It may, in fact, be Melted himself. And if he can pop it at the right time, he can catch Storms, but Storms doesn't expose himself for long enough while shooting those batteries. Thus, the breach will fall. Melted will continue to hold inside of Jim, just sitting in between this weight rack, possibly unbeknownst to this attack. This could be the key position that ends up winning the round if he can drop Diffuser and find the player meant to get his trade. But no, he whiffs the shots. He doesn't find anyone. Storms and Abenai get one piece. Forest and Abenai, though, they'll get two in a row. And that leaves just Slippery alone in the middle of Long. And Jay finishes him off with the shotgun. What happened to this execute? After getting the first pick into Jim, it seemed like they had all the cards going for them, and Lenny just crumbled.
Lenny simply took too long. I get that their execute started off on the right foot. Melted wasn't able to find a kill in a crucial and, again, unknown position. Was not able to do much there, but it didn't really matter. LennyGG didn't even start to look towards the objective until there were about 30 seconds remaining. I mean, up until, what, the 28-second mark, there was a castle barricade up on the gym window. That can easily be taken care of in the beginning of the round. They gave Wichita Wolves so much confidence in their sight hold, so much mobility around the objective because they didn't even touch the jacuzzi wall, the gym window, the master window until, those closing seconds of the round. And that is just not the pace that you need against a team like Wichita Wolves. Even if you get the opening pick, that is going to do you nothing if you don't actually do anything with that. With that opening pick, you should say, okay, we know now that Wichita Wolves, they're not going to hold cash as firm. They can't afford it. They simply don't have the manpower. It would be too risky. Let's get more aggressive and let's clear this out soon. But that is not what we saw. We saw them sit on the platform breach for a minute and a half. Yes, they got their steps done eventually, but I really got to say that timing, it didn't give them the comfort they needed. They didn't have time to obtain the proper intel even onto Melted in the closing seconds. Again, that wasn't particularly impactful, especially on the Bandit in particular, but still, all of these elements compounded to be a very weak and one-sided attack with very little prep and very little intel. And Wichita Wolves, they are the caliber of team to capitalize on that every time.
Speaking of capitalization, though, Storms, very early on, almost as soon as the round started, at least it felt that way, he's going to take Jay out. And you know what Jay had in his pocket? He had a C4. Only one of two that Wichita Wolves currently have. And that's made even worse by the fact that they have no smoke. C4s right now, except for, just swinging the planter, is their only form of denial. So good start for Lenny. Not a great start for Wichita Wolves. LennyGG now making sure that lounge is clear so that they can go ahead and deny the bandit trick from Callout. Mikey impacting below the wall will make way for Geo to go ahead and breach, and Callout is forced to fall off. And there we go. An opening pick and the breach open in the first minute 15. Lenny are making some very good progress in the early round.
Yeah, this much improved from the previous round. It will definitely help that the side of the map they are approaching from is the one with the objective, so they don't have as much space to actually clear out and go, but they still have a couple of players to suss out and actually deal with. I mean, Forest is playing here in Oil Pit, and it doesn't seem like this position has been telegraphed. No. Swaylin is going to expose himself to that ladder, and Forrest makes quick work. Mikey can't really afford to turn his attention fully to that position because there's still somebody on Rafters, and they are still a problem. Thankfully, you've got Slippery watching that angle close and dealing with that player accordingly. There it is again, Callout, swinging the breach. Really hungry for that kill, and that is simply not going to be the answer. Losing his life and now giving LennyGG a 4 versus 2 advantage. 50 seconds, I'd say the progress they've made now, this is ample time to get the rest of this work done.
And the only thing to stop them from getting that plant down is that C4. They have ample coverage on the breach. I mean, yeah, they have to deal with that bulletproof, which is a bit of a pain. Actually, I don't think they have the utility to do so. But honestly, it might not be too much trouble. They are getting hard pings, but Foros is going to start dropping, and he'll actually lose the fight to Storms, the player he was targeting bottom red. Here's the C4 to try and deny plant, but it's not going to kill Geo. It got stuck on the server rack. It's a post plant now for Melted 1 versus 4. Is there anything he's going to be able to do about it? You've got LennyGG now retreating to their post plants. You got a couple in garage, one still tucked behind the bomb chassis, one coming up red and one outside the breach. Literally every single direction that Melted can come from is covered by this attack, and the time is dwindling. He's only got another 20 seconds left. We'll be able to take the head off of Mikey, but it's a short-lived victory as Geo guides the immediate trade, and it's another round for LennyGG.
Wow, LennyGG proving it's not just clubhouse defense that gives them round wins against the Wolves. They can do it on the attacking side as well. Excellent job on that CCTV attack, and now they move out to yet again a 2-round lead. I mean, for the Wolves there, I'm not sure what the real problem was. I mean, they had a couple of moments when they got over aggressive. I'm going to have to mention call out in this instance. The Bandit, MP7 in hand, he swings that breach and goes for the player all the way by the garage door. Not sure that was the play. You combine that with a Rafters player that couldn't hang in the round for more than about a minute and a half. You had an early skirmish go out. Not even sure how Jay died in that opening pick. But again, LennyGG, they are taking opportunity after opportunity, turning it into their favor and winning rounds because of it. And Wichita Wolves, they've won one defensive round, but that's been about it so far. Gym was their answer. CCTV and Cash, generally the easier site to defend, was not. So now they'll go downstairs to Church and Arsenal to see what they can cook up here.
You know what else is a little bit curious? LennyGG were able to take, especially a site like Cash, that easily with no Capital. They just sent Zoph's utility up to clear Rafters. And, I mean, hey, if they don't need it, if they'd rather bring the double hard breach and keep the Iana and the Zoph combo, then hey, more power to them. They're going to start off by opening up dirt. They see that it's a pretty aggressive roam here from Wichita Wolves. You can kind of tell that just by looking at their operators, not even their presence on the map. That can almost be assumed at this point. And they're going to try and establish some early pressure on those downstairs players. Call it Abadai, the players upstairs. Jay kind of supporting them, I believe. Oh no, I read the silhouettes wrong. Call out is downstairs. It's Jay inside a bar. I lied. I apologize. If LennyGG can wise up to this roam, establish enough presence downstairs quick enough, and get the trades, they force Wichita Wolves into a retake, and that could be the round in their favor. But the fact that there are 3 anchors on site, and it's already been a minute, makes me a little bit worried, because Lenny don't seem too keen on actually clearing that top floor where the mute is.
Yeah, you've got Mikey just positioned over in garage, poised to possibly just drop into oil pit and go for a more direct approach. I'm even more certain of that. Now we can see a full drone army pouring on into blue, clearing the back of this generator, but they have not been able to clear out Forrest just yet. He has retaken that position, likely to have a couple of ADSs to work with, so these nades incoming from Slippery might not be able to connect. They're going to drop some smokes on through to clear that out, but that's going to be misplaced. One nade is going to be very much off the mark, but it will deal with some utility. Second nade will go on into the back and quickly get burned. Little do LennyGG know, Forrest is out of there. He's retreated onto the objective, but now that Swaylin has cut him down, LennyGG should have a good idea of that. An excellent shot from Mikey. Now 2 excellent shots to give him a double kill. Abonai is now cut down by Slippery, and Melted, still off-site, is now in a 1v5. He spots out the position of the Yana, can't quite finish it off, and now with the bomb down, this is an impossible situation for the Mozzie. He just got to find 1 kill at a time, and he has simply no time to do it. You cannot find 5 kills and a defuse in just 30 seconds, and Melted will live out the rest of this round on garage rafters, hoping to boost the KD a little bit, but looks like LennyGG aren't having it.
Yeah, probably to take a tack timeout. Okay. Slippery. Slippery just kind of sprints in, but Mikey will confirm his 3K, and that's another round. It's another one for LennyGG. that round, I was a little bit worried about early on because I thought, with the way Lenny were playing, where they were just kind of going towards dirt blue as the main push, I thought they were taking a little bit too long. But I now see the plan. I see the light. They get that opening pick on a Forest after they flush him out of blue, thanks to, I believe, the dirt player of Swaylin. Either dirt or kitchen hatch, one of those two. Either way. They push down blue. Mikey gets a fantastic opening 2 picks. But there's still those 2 players above. Now, sure, a retake from that position is hard, but if you can get a flank off and catch a couple of these attackers off guard, then that could be round changing. But LennyGG have Slippery. And Slippery is dedicated to not letting that happen. And there we go. My qualms out the window, thanks to Slippery. Lenny with a very well-orchestrated attack and another plant, thanks to Geo. The common denominator so far between their 2 round wins has been Geo's plant. And I'm not going to lie. I love the boys on Lenny, especially Mikey. Mikey is my Eastern brethren. And of course, their analyst, Jared, Chat Penguin Lips, I've been very good friends with for a very long time. So they know I love them when I say this. LennyGG are on match point is not a phrase I was expecting to say coming into this game.
No chance. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. I mean, they, especially after last week against Honor, Honor and Lenny and OCG, they were probably shaping up to be really hard to impress us, right? They were shaping up to be in the bottom of this incredibly stacked group. And after Honor made very quick work of Lenny last week, I think we all thought that LennyGG has rightfully earned their spot on the bottom of Group A right now. But they are proving us very, very wrong. All of our prediction going to the Wolves, very, very wrong. It is match point for Lenny. 3 rounds up. They have 3 separate chances to win this map. They're going to start on Gym, a site that they were not able to successfully attack last time. We'll see if they were able to learn their lesson. And just based on the pace of this round, it is remarkable the difference we're seeing. Not only are they attempting to clear cash, but they're doing it before the 90-second mark. They're in the building. They've cleared out cash. They're going to work their way up to construction. And now it's just about pressuring the objective. This is far and away the best Gym attack already we've seen so far from both of these teams. It's just about continuing that momentum into an actual execute.
Now, Geo, you might be wondering, if you're a newer viewer of Siege, why the hell is Thermite putting his charge on the floor? Well, that's because it'll still get the bottom of the reinforcement, and more importantly, it avoids the impact trick. Did it actually open?
It might have been impact tricked.
It didn't. It didn't work.
No, it just didn't open. Okay.
Actually, I can see it. I see like a tiny hole. Maybe he just didn't put it in the... I think he didn't put it in the right spot.
Huh.
Or maybe, I think maybe, like, because he had it kind of vertically, maybe you're supposed to put it horizontally. I don't know. Either way, he tried, and he failed. It's only a tiny hole. So LennyGG are going to have to figure out something different, and that's the Hibana. Swaylin's going to go ahead and start breaching. Mikey's on the window to make sure the Valkyrie can't get cheeky, and Slippery is holding her rotate back into Master, and the first pick is actually going to go the way of Mikey, and LennyGG followed up by another in the hands of Storms. It's a 2-man advantage in what could possibly be the final round of this game. Slippery still watching this doorway like a hawk. Dawn 6 goes out to burn the ADS. Forrest contesting with these holes. Down goes 2 players of Lenny, though. And there's the equalizer that Wichita Wolves were looking for, and there's only 20 seconds left. Forrest has to be wary of his backside. Slippery still has a nade in pocket, but that ADS has likely been recharged, and the nade can't go through. Slippery's going to have to contest with a shield, and Forrest plays behind it perfectly. Another one for Forrest as Callout finds the trade onto Mikey, and Wichita Wolves hang on.
Well, all of our talk about the exothermic charge didn't seem like a huge deal initially, but what it did is it burned about 20 to 30 seconds of the round. They had to put the Hibana in place. They had to get those X-Kairos pellets on the wall. That slight misstep, maybe not quite the right placement, maybe Siege just being Siege sometimes, and that wall not opening up. And LennyGG, they kind of stalled out. They lost the initial push that they had. and it started to collapse. We were surprised. I mean, I was surprised for sure. I'm assuming you were as well. When all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, the scoreboard lit up orange. LennyGG, they found 2 kills in a row onto seemingly unaware Wichita Wolves defenders, and they had all the momentum yet again. Unfortunately, it all kind of lived and died in construction itself. While we didn't see necessarily the firmest cash extension from the Wolves, they really held construction firm. Forest going massive on the Valkyrie in that position, not only getting that kill, multiple kills over in cash and on that cash doorway, but then turning around to the site to support his team in the closing moments. So great work there from the Wolves to stall out LennyGG and finish out that round. But yet again, that is just one of 3. And now they have to win 2 defenses in a row on 2 objectives they have yet to win a defensive round on.
All right, I think that's the most important point that we have to focus on. Both previous attempts of these sites were unsuccessful, and they weren't, you know, a miraculous Lenny clutch either. They were pretty convincing rounds from the attack. So unless Wichita Wolves make some kind of major adjustment to either the strategy or the way they play, which I think especially we can say on cash may have been a little bit too over-aggressive, especially with the bandit, you know, swinging plat wall and dying from someone sitting on the floor below. We need to see some kind of adjustment from Wichita Wolves. Already, we heard a wall get opened. I don't quite know which wall it was. I am assuming it's going to be garage. And once again, there's no lounge players for Lenny to worry about. Thus, the Zoph can breach under. But Abunai is playing... Okay, never mind. Abunai was playing right next to the breach. I was like, why is he staying there? I think it was to shoot a drum. The wall is going to be opened for free because there's no bandit. And once again, Lenny making very good headway.
Yeah, good pace on the CCTV site. Last time... that opening pick came in the way of the Rafters player, I believe, but instead of a Jaeger this time, it will be the Smoke. Instead, Forest is holding that position right now, just chilling on cams right now. We can see that because of the updated HUD on the left side of your screen. Just trying to figure out exactly what LennyGG are attempting to muster. Seems that the mute jammer from Jay on that garage wall is being a bit problematic. It's not allowing those X-Kairos pellets to detonate, not allowing anybody to just kind of creep on into garage. But the sound we just heard, I do believe they were now successful. That's going to mean Slippery will try to gain some intel for the next step of this clear. But that's going to be hindered by the fact that Abunai, with a brilliant angle, is going to take out one. Storms will respond using the same angle to trade him on back. But now 60 seconds remain, and they still need to clear out this Rafters player. Here's the goal of that nade. It's going to be cooked and tossed, but a third ADS is in position. Thankfully, Forrest will try to rotate away before the second nade rolls on up, and Swalen cuts him down.
Good collapse by LennyGG. When I saw that nade get burned and Forrest start to rotate away, I was a little bit worried for them, but Swalen was covering the angle, and Forrest got caught out. I believe that is your only positive player if you're Wichita Wolves, now off the board. Now use Jay, call out, and Melted to pick up the pieces, and Melted no longer has a C4. It is only in the pocket of Jay, and despite call out playing below, well, he's only got impact, so he's going to have to impact right onto the planter, and then shoot them himself. It's not a free kill. Here comes the push in from Geo, but he takes too long. He'll be cut down by the shield, but again, there's the refrag from Swalen. Storms finds another. It's just Jay, and he's cut down from the breach. LennyGG take round number 11. The underdogs are victorious. I'm in shock.
Wow.
I didn't think I was going to be saying this. But especially, too, thanks to the Rainbow Six Challenge, about 10,000 people just watched probably the biggest underdog victory that we've seen in the past 2 seasons of